Are you ready to listen to a podcast?
Here comes the Playhouse Podcast, thanks to Bradshaw and Bryan Law Offices.
Find, subscribe, and listen.
Man, this would be the definition of a rock and a hard place. So this clerk at a liquor store in Troy, Michigan, hands over a cash register to a young man. The young man fled on foot, and he didn't show a weapon, but he had his hands in his pocket, implying
he had a finger gun,
that he might have one. But hours later came a break in the case because the mom of the teen called the cops, and it seemed like she found this large sum of money in her 14-year-old's bedroom.
No.
He was acting suspicious. She heard that there was a local liquor store that got cased and robbed. And so police arrived. The teen confessed to robbery, and he was taken into custody. That clear what happened or how, what repercussions are happening. But would you be able to turn one of your kids in? Would you?
Boy.
Do you feel like your words to your child?
Probably was something like that. And here's my rationale. If they just robbed a liquor store, they're not going to stop there.
Yep.
Something needs to be done. And if whatever I've done as a parent hasn't gotten through to this point, they need something more than what I've done. That's my rationale there.
I agree. It's are your words impactful enough to really get through to them, or do they need another route?
If you find your kid stole a Snickers from the gas station when no one was listening, well, then you sit them down, you have the heart-to-heart, you threaten them, you do whatever you got to do. But we're talking armed robbery here. I don't think it stops at that if you don't call the cops.
Alleged armed robbery. He didn't brandish a gun or anything. But, it would be a spot that I hope no parent is in. But, it will happen to somebody. So would you be able to turn your child in to the cops if they committed a crime like that?
Look at this. I got Tracy on line 2. Apparently, she's already done this. So I want to get her story and yours, too. Have you call the cops on your own kid? Could you turn your own child in to the police?
That's the reality of this mom in Troy, Michigan. Her 14-year-old son, he confessed after she saw that there were just large sums of cash in his room. He was acting weird. And then she heard that a liquor store had been knocked off down the street. And he didn't have a gun. The guy at the register said he thought he had a gun because his hands were in his pockets. But he was taken into custody, confessed. And, that would be a hard phone call to make.
Think about it. You've got one kid, young Liam at 15. You find a large sum of money in his room, and you heard that there was, the gas station down the block was ripped off. And he's acting weird. Would you call the cops?
I don't know. I'm
also guessing it's not this kid's first run-in with the police.
Maybe she's already spoken to him about shifty behavior, and then she's like, listen, if it happens again, and it happened again. So I don't know.
Hey,
I don't know what I would do.
Tracy, I appreciate you holding. This hits pretty close to home, huh?
Actually, I did end up turning my son in. He was he went on the show Scared Straight.
No way.
Yeah, I've seen that.
I used to watch that all the time. So you're saying did it end up working?
Yeah. So when it happened, he was 13. He was stealing things and a complete mess, just a total problem child. And now he's 17, gets perfect grades, just such a good kid. I feel like it just scared him about what was to come. If he just kept down that road.
That sounds like the best case scenario.
Do you ever feel guilty about turning him in, though? I mean, that's got to be a tough thing for a mom to do, right?
At first I did, but at the same time, he was stealing from a bunch of stores. So
yeah,
I kind of had to.
Does he have any animosity towards you for this, or is he grateful that you kind of saw the writing on the wall and got him straight there?
Honestly, he doesn't complain, but I don't really know. He hasn't really said anything, we seem to have a good relationship, so unless he's harboring a grudge.
I mean, if you think about it, all the times he was stealing from stores and he could have gotten caught and looked at a lot of heavy jail time, you saved his life.
Exactly.
Yeah, maybe. Hey, Kat, say good morning to Tim. We know him as New York.
Hey, what's up, New York?
Hey, what are you guys doing?
We're talking about the unfortunate events of having to turn your child into the police.
And am I getting this right? Your mom once called the cops on you?
My mom once called the police on me.
For what?
That day, we got into an altercation, so Mom put me out for the night. And I was like 14, so I wound up going up to the 6th floor of my apartment building and sleeping on the platform. And about, 2, 3 in the morning, I'm woken to the police.
Yeah.
With my picture.
Oh, no.
So, make a long story short, a buddy of mine had stole some furniture from some old neighbor's home. And somehow my name came up. So they came to my house, explained it to my mother, and she goes, yeah, he's right upstairs. Here's his picture.
Yeah, not
so
messing
they
around.
arrest me. They take me to county jail. This is in the Bronx, so we have precincts. And all of a sudden, the cop goes, "Is there a Tim?" I'm in the cell with several other guys, and an officer goes, "Is there a Tim Cavalier here?" And I go, "Yeah, why?" He goes, "Well, your mother's on the phone, and she's just checking to make sure you made it here safe."
All right. And did you learn your lesson?
Yeah. Did you actually steal the furniture?
No, I didn't. That was the messed up thing. I wasn't even there. It was a friend of mine who somehow my name came up.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
And how's the relationship with Mom after she turns you into the cops for something you didn't do?
I hated her for it for a long time, but as I grew older and eventually had children myself, I could see her understanding.
Yeah.
And now she's in her late 80s, still in the same one-bedroom apartment, same phone number, 65 years.
Wow.
And we talk about things from time to time. She has regrets, I have regrets. But I tell her, thank you for being not easy on me because
you would have been
really,
a different person, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was. But at the time, I hated her for it.
Yeah,
but now that I'm a father of 2 boys, and they've been raised great, one's in the military, the other one just graduated from the University of Texas.
Amazing.
And my ex-wife and I have talked about, God forbid, something ever happened. And my ex-wife is like, there's no way I would never call the cops. I'd stand by them. And I said to myself, Jane, depending on the issue, we would have to, but we'd be there for them. You don't just forget about them. A lot of times, people are arrested, they're forgotten.
Yeah.
And left to the system. But no, I said we would work through this in a way that we're, if you raise your children well and they didn't know the difference from right and wrong and something happens, you be there for them.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for calling New York. I think that, that's a good way of looking at it. And I think hopefully no parent is in that situation. You're getting played off because you're breathing through your ears. So,
God forbid something like this happens.
Okay.
That's where that tough love comes in.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And it's something serious. Like you hear about kids killing and doing things that are just
right.
Oh my gosh,
crazy.
You have to be there.
Well, thank you so much. We appreciate the phone calls. So.
Oh, you guys are great. You're like part of my family now.
Oh,
always good to hear from you, New York.
Hear from you guys.
All right.
You guys make my day.
Right back at you, big man.
Talk to you later, bud.
Have a good day. Bye.
You too. You are so
I can't
rude.
believe you knew
You're
that.
So
I can't
rude.
believe you would play that. The guy goes out of his way to call our show, and you play the Jeopardy theme behind him.
I don't understand how your brain works.
It's
twisted.
that's just really wrong that you would do something like that. I can't believe you're in control of this whole thing.
So sad news we found out yesterday. Actor and comedian Gilbert Godfrey died at the age of 67. It was a heart abnormality due to having myotonic dystrophy is what it's called, type 2. But one of his last pieces of great work that he has out there is his reading of Cardi B's WAP.
Come take a dive. Tie me up like I'm surprised. Let's role play. I'll wear a disguise. I want you to park that Big Mac truck right in its little garage.
Oh my God. Amazing piece of art. All right, Jennifer Lopez finally sharing the story of how Ben Affleck proposed, and it just sounds so romantic.
It was totally unexpected. My love came in, Ben came in, and he got down on one knee, and he said some things that I'll never forget. And then he pulled out a ring, and he said, "Will you marry me?" And it was The most perfect moment.
In his defense, she was naked in the tub.
Yeah.
I'm married. I'd propose to her at that point, too.
In that scenario,
there's nothing
you
else
find
to
a ring.
say to Jennifer Lopez when she's naked enjoying a bubble bath other than, will you marry me?
Yeah, he was just off camera when she was telling this story. They seem really in love. They do.
They're so lucky. It's not often you get a second chance at true love.
I love you too.
Say it like Batman, though.
I love you.
I want him to say it like Batman. I love you.
I love you, too. I wonder if he's just like so romantic like he is in the movies. Matt McConaughey's wife blew it out of the water. She goes, whatever you see on screen, he is absolutely not like that at home. But that's all right. In a podcast interview, Kim K was asked the question, what do you think of Kanye's new girlfriend?
No, I mean, I just want him to be happy. She seems like the sweetest. Like, whatever makes you happy, I don't care what it is. I think that it'll reflect in your life, in your work, everything, and how you are a parent. As long as he's happy, I'm genuinely just want that.
Look
truly.
at the high road. Wow.
She's always taken the high road with this whole thing. So as long as the kids are taken care of, I think she's good. Paris Hilton. I look at her as like never growing up because she still looks like she did when she was in her early 20s. But here she is sounding older than ever.
Oh, my God. So much fun. I feel like kids today have no idea what fun is because back then when no one had an iPhone and no one had social media, no one was looking at a phone. No one had a camera. Everyone was just free and feeling comfortable and everybody was out and it was like the sickest crowd and like the best people. And now it's just like, I don't know. It's
Can I
not
translate for you
anymore.
guys real quick? Remember when we used to drop a ton of acid, go to the club, and then sleep with whoever we wanted and nobody knew about it?
Nothing was documented.
That was
at
great.
All. Yeah. Blowing out their candles today, we have pop star Lou Bega turning 47. Caroline Ray is 58. And Al Green turning 76 today.
Woo!
Yeah.
Woo! Now, welcome to my favorite part of our show. Over the years, we've done a lot of fun stuff, but this is now become, I think, my favorite part of the Playhouse. It's drunk adult or little kid. And my favorite part is that it's because you provide the material. You tell us what you did. But you had to have done it as a dopey little kid or a dopey drunk adult.
I started off so good last week. So accurate, and then it just fell apart.
So the way it works is you give us a holler, and you tell us first what happened. Then we've got to try and guess whether it happened when you were boozed up or just a dumb little kid. Jenny, I appreciate you taking the reins right away today. Drunk adult and little kid, let's get it going. Now, what happened?
I face planted on a slip and slide and broke my collarbone.
Oh, all right. So, drunk adult or little kid on the slip and slide, Kat?
I am going to have to say little kid. No.
Well, see? These
right.
get you second guessing yourself.
Little kid.
Face plant, slip and slide, break the collarbone. Jenny, drunk adult or little kid?
I was a drunk adult. No. I was at a friend's summer pool party, and they had an old school slip and slide out. And, oh, my gosh, after I don't know how many Jell-O shots, I was feeling like showing off in front of some of the single guys, and I just went for it. I apparently forgot the right approach to sliding, and instead I went head first and stuck, went inverted, and then back over, and through this whole awful process, I heard this crack, and it was my collarbone, and that was the end of that party for me.
Boom.
So you are really completely immobilized when that happens. I remember. Do you remember that story of my sister hanging her head down from the top bunk, and she was bothering me, so I grabbed her braid. I pulled her down, broke her collarbone. I heard that snap. That's horrible.
Definitive, and then you can't really do much with your shoulder because it's immobile. All right, Haley, let's get to yours. I appreciate you holding. Kat is 0 for 1, by the way, today. Drunk adult or little kids? Scenario first, please.
So I threw a cake across the room, and it took out my best friend's mom.
Oh, okay, so you threw out a cake all the way across the room, took out her best friend's mom. Drunk adult or little kid?
I just feel like I'm just going to say little kid the whole time. One has to stick. So I'm going to say little kid.
Drunk adult or little kid here, Haley?
I was a drunk adult. It was my wedding shower, and I was absolutely hammered, which was mistake number one. But then, I was sent to go start cutting the cake, and it was chocolate, and I hate chocolate.
Okay.
So I was so pissed, and not thinking, I just immediately took the cake and I launched it across the room, and it smashed all over my best friend's mom's face, which was not one of my better moments.
You sound normal.
I want to party with you, cowboy.
I'm 0 for 2.
So I was like, all right, Kat, I'm going to make you wait on this one. And when the deuce is chucked, how will you respond? So, drunk adult or little kid, one of those scenarios exist with the poop. Trent, tell us about it.
I took a deuce on my neighbor's front porch.
Okay, simple enough. That's all that you're going to get.
All right, I'm just going to say little kid. I'm going to say he had to go. Couldn't get in his house.
Based on his voice, I would go otherwise. Trent, drunk adult or little kid?
I was a little kid.
Yes.
Our neighbors growing up about everything. I mean, from music playing too loud, saying that they could hear it, to our dogs barking in the middle of the day. So one day, our like neighborhood crew was playing football in the street, and we had been playing music, and the cops showed up because they called them and like lied and said that we were throwing the ball at their house. We weren't. But my parents shut it all down. They didn't believe me, nothing. Later that night, when it got dark, I went out and on their porch. My mom asked me when I got home from school if I knew anything about it, and I said no. But apparently one of them stepped in it, so
called that poop. Oh, man.
Well done. I appreciate that, man. Drunk adult or little kid. I love it.
Those were good.
Especially when you got to lie to your mom about it. And mom knew. She knew you did it. That's why she asked you about it. Well done.
Katy Perry and Jimmy Kimmel, they made up a new kids song, and it might help your kids. Some parents are adopting this as like something to sing around the house. So they understand.
Clap your hands and stomp your feet. Give me something good to eat. Yum, yum, nom, nom, toot, toot, poop.
First the food goes in your mouth, then it starts to travel south.
Yum, yum, nom, nom, toot, toot, poop.
Now, I heard that they did this to try and get Baby Shark off the rails of being the best kids song.
Is it going to stick? Who knows if it's going to stick?
Chew, chew, yum, yum, toot, toot,
poop. And that's it. That's the digestion sequence. So, was there ever a song that you guys sang at home like that?
We weren't. My mom was very musical, but we never had. My dad was a Green Beret, so the whole like, hey, let's have some whimsical fun, family. Like that never really existed in my childhood.
Yeah,
but I think the closest was the cat, bobat, banana, faux fat, fee, fi, faux mat. Cat.
That's
and then
a bad one.
It would be funny because my dad would go, all right, do Chuck. and
oh my God, Liam went to school at Little Saints Academy. I'm gonna call them out because I loved him going there. They did a great job, but I remember one day I picked him up and he goes, we can't sing that song because Tucker's in our class. I was like, okay, sounds good. So they had to forego that song. But Liam, since he was born, we sang the prayer where it's like, oh, the Lord is good to me. And so I thank the Lord for giving me the things I need, the sun and the rain and the apple seed. Oh, the Lord is good to me. And we sing it out at restaurants.
We sing
when
that
I'm with my in-laws.
before communion sometimes in our church.
That song?
Yeah.
Oh, I
because
thought
it's before the big meal.
Yeah. Okay. So is there a song that you sing with your family? I love to get just little glimpses into your life. Go ahead and text what that song is, or even a video of you singing
That's better.
That would be amazing.
If you can text us a video of you singing it. That's
we would
better.
Love to see that.
And now, another post from Aunt Nora.
Comment above the meme. This is an LOL. Cleaning the house with everyone home is like brushing your teeth while eating Oreos. Her post in the comments. Have you ever timed how long to dunk your Oreo in milk? My perfect dunk is 7 seconds. Try it and report back. Cookie emoji, milk emoji. My dad liked it.
That was another post from Kat's Aunt Nora.
Radio Paparazzi.
Kim K doing more interviews, and this is press right before the new season of Keeping Up starts on Hulu, which is in hours. But she was recalling her first kiss with Pete Davidson. There's more to it.
I was like not even focused on that. And then when we kissed, I was just like, It was a stage kiss, but it was like still like a little zing, you know? And then I was like, wow, I really haven't kissed anyone else in 10 years. So maybe I'm just like being stupid and it's just nothing. And it's just a stage kiss.
No.
Listen to your body, girl. And she did. That was about her SNL skit where she was Jasmine and he was Aladdin. You have to watch it because it was so funny. They spoof on her life. Like another girl comes up and she's like, this is my sister Jortney and we all have the same chain. It's very funny. Millie Bobby Brown sadly turned 18. I say sadly because now she has to deal with so many creepy guys.
I think it's just a very good representation of what's going on in the world and how young girls are sexualized. And so I have been dealing with that but have also been dealing with that for forever. The only difference is that obviously I'm doing that in the public eye. It can be really overwhelming. I have definitely been dealing with that more within the last 2 weeks of turning 18.
Jeez.
Ew, David. Gross. And you know what? It's all these gross guys on their keyboard, dark room, would never say it to her face, you know. And
Pasta
much like
sauce running down their chest.
Yeah, and like pee bottles because they're too like lazy to get up and go to the bathroom. But you know who else is dealing with trolls? And I feel really bad. Hailey Bieber. She has she's just like begging people.
Leave me alone at this point. I'm minding my business. I don't do anything. I don't say anything. Leave me alone, please. Enough time has gone by where it's valid to leave me alone. I beg of you, truly. That's my only request. Leave me alone. Be miserable somewhere else. Please.
So she loves her fans, but the trolls are like, you look pregnant.
The problem is misery loves company. It is that way. Broken people continue to try and break other people, and it's just, it's unfortunate. Sadly, the thing that she's going to have to probably do is just get rid of her socials.
That's what I was going to say. Like, take a note from Selena. She hasn't been online in 4 years. She just has people working for her that kind of just handle it. And
good people that can filter out the crap messages are going to be worth the money.
Speaking of socials, you know how earlier this week we talked about JoJo Siwa. She was not invited to the Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Awards, and so her fans were upset, including this one, Seattle superfan. She decided to tweet about how she was going to burn down the Nickelodeon headquarters.
And he tells me, well, Nickelodeon headquarters is in Manhattan, and they called this in, and they just want me to call you and to close this out. And so he asked me, like, what is the meaning behind my tweet? And so I go, basically, I was just mad because they didn't invite her to the Kids' Choice Awards a year after she came out as gay. That's homophobic. And then he just starts laughing again and apologizes for having to call me.
At least this cop had a little sense of humor. Like, why? How low on the totem pole are you when you're the cop that has to follow up on the tweet from Seattle?
I know. But, like, how weird to say you're going to burn someplace down and expect
there's a little
not to
unbridled
happen.
aggression there.
Blowing out their candles today, we have Max Weinberg from the East Street Band, 71. Caroline Ray is 58, and, like, the youngest is Lou Bega, 47.
This is the People's Court. Yes, I said People's is, so we don't get sued.
All right, so Maggie is on and ready to go. She had texted us, and you can always reach out to us, social media, texting, email with any issues that you have, and we'll bring it to the radio, and she's on with us.
Yeah, hey, Maggie, I appreciate you coming on the show. I know you're kind of a little distraught by this, so if you can just kind of calm down, be calm, and tell everybody what's going on here.
Okay. So, you know, it was I kind of already got off to a bad start anyway. Like, I wear, you know, the larger size pants. They're 3X. Okay. And I went to work with the tag still on my pants.
Okay.
And to make matters worse, one of the kind of guys at my work.
That's okay. Yep.
They ended up taking the tag, ripping it off my pants, like throwing it in my face and saying, oh, in case you need another reminder.
Oh, my God. I can't. I have no words and I have a lump in my throat. What did you even do at that point? Probably that. Speechless.
Like, I was speechless. I like, after that, I literally went into the bathroom and cried.
Oh, my God. Oh.
Felt like it was one of those, like, bully on the playground situation. And we're 38. Like, they're in our late 30s.
Yeah. Like, I think bully is used in a weird way often, but he is 100% a bully. Is it just him at work that's doing this?
No, it was him, and then he started laughing about it with a couple of his coworkers.
Man, oh, man.
fun of me all day.
Ooh, I'm ready to deliver a knuckle sandwich. Have you talked to your bosses? Like, this is a fireable offense.
Yeah, I would think this is something that should get somebody canned.
You are in a hostile work environment, Maggie.
I know. I just, I don't know how to bring it up or, what I'm supposed to say, because then everyone's going to know that I don't know.
I get that. And this would be perfect. I think if we toss this out, our audience is always pretty good about this kind of stuff. So if you just turn up your radio, I think everybody's going to have probably at least an opinion on how you can. Number one, it sucks, and we're sorry that that this happened to you, and I'm grateful that you're cool enough with airing this out on the show. But let's see what everybody else thinks, because there might be a path of least resistance here to make sure that, number one, it doesn't happen again, and number two, these guys get what coming to them, all right?
Thanks, guys.
It's pretty disgusting.
It's Sakara, right?
Yeah.
Hey, what do you think about this? People's Court, what would you do if you were Maggie right now?
All right, so first off, I just want to say to Maggie that I'm sure your ass looks phenomenal in those XXL jeans, okay?
Yep.
And second of all, if I were you, granted, I would bring it up to your HR, okay? I know that you're probably going to cry when you talk about it, and that's totally fine. I know you don't want to ruffle any feathers, but this is something that is probably going to keep happening, not only to you, but who knows who else they're making fun of. And they need to be addressed. In some way. And you can tell your HR provider, I don't want to make this a massive ordeal. I don't want this to be blown out of proportion, but this is what's happening in this workplace.
I know. And doesn't it seem like if a woman were to say something, people are like, oh, can't she just deal with it? They're just words. But it's like when you dread going into work every single day because you know you're going to get teased, that nobody should live
That's
like
horrible.
that.
That's a horrible feeling. Yeah.
Sakara, one of the things I think a lot of people don't realize when you bring this up is that it's beyond you, right? It's going to be something that you're helping out somebody in the future, either not have to go through this or, you know what I mean? Most people think about the here and now, and it's difficult when you're in a traumatic situation, you're full of emotion, especially if it's some kind of shame that you're like, I just want it to go away, but I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
But realizing, and it's always easier for us to say than somebody else to do, but for us to say, hey, if you make a stride right now, it's definitely going to help out people in the future. That's difficult to see, so I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, and also, never, ever let somebody shame you for your body. You are a human being. They are a human being. They have all the flaws in the world, and they are pointing them out to you by making fun of you.
That's what I think. It's like, you better be close to damn perfect if you are going to come at me.
Yeah, exactly. If you're going to come at me.
Yep. And so many people saying, are we back in school? It shouldn't happen in school either. But it's like when people are adults, you are held to a higher standard. And,
they're being so immature. That's such a level of immaturity.
And doesn't it skeeve you out that it's more than one guy? That's really weird.
Listen, you don't want to hear this, but a good old boys club happens almost everywhere.
I'm in radio, doll. I know
happens.
that,
and I don't know what the next thing is. You know what I mean? I've always said I prefer to work for a woman. I prefer to have women in management.
Yeah.
I just think they react better, and they're less. Good old boys.
They're less hot-headed most of the time.
It's just, here's the problem. Is there's so many of these good old boys that have these traditions. Like if you work at a place where they're like, well, I expect you to be at your desk for 40 hours. That's not a thing anymore. Mm-hmm. That's not a thing. You know what I mean? It's like, get the work done. And I think that I'm just, from my angle, I think women get it way more than men. And it's a shame that, you see all these bigger companies that are still run by these good old boys.
Yeah, for sure.
Agreed. What it is. Hey, I appreciate your thoughts this morning and your passion. Thanks for letting us be part of your day, and I hope you have a really good one, okay?
Thanks, guys. You too.
Thank you. Jordan had texted and said, I would probably quit my job. Tell HR, and you could fix that hostile work environment. She's not leaving, Jordan.
Quitting
Maggie
that
is not
job
leaving.
means you gave in.
Yeah.
This is the People's Court. Yes, I said people's is, so we don't get sued.
So to recap real quick, what Maggie had said is basically she's at work. She left the tag on her jeans by accident, her pants, and guy comes up that she works with behind her, rips it off.
Makes fun of the fact that she wears XXX jeans.
Throws it on her desk and says, if you needed a reminder. And then she starts kind of getting heckled from not only this dude, but a couple of the other jerks in the office. And I get it. Some people, you just want to lay low, do your job, go home, and not ruffle any feathers. But
It's your human right to go to work and feel safe and comfortable. You're never going to get along with everybody you work with. Trust me on that. But you should be able to feel comfortable and
what's
not
the next
judge.
move? You know, you're right. What's the next move? I mean,
it's harassment.
Listen.
It's 100% HR harassment. We need to have that conversation.
I get how I would handle this, and it would be a heavy confrontation because I'm into that. But a lot of people aren't, man. They're scared of getting face to face, and they don't want repercussions, and they just want to move along with it. But how would you handle it? Dominique, how would you do this?
So I was bullied a lot through middle school and high school, and I was just like her. I did not like confrontation. That's some stuff that needed to be addressed.
Yeah.
I'm on the muscular side, and I've always been. It's just my body build. That's just how it was. But kids, you know, can be a little tough, and they used to say that I was a man. And I didn't know why I was built like this. My dad was muscular, and I got it from him, and that's just how. That's what I was blessed with.
Yeah.
So, but growing up, now I'm like, if a person doesn't like my size,
that's nobody's problem but theirs.
If you tough on you if you can't gain a couple. I'm eating good. I work to buy the food that I want. That's none of your business.
I know, and I love your wording just then where you said the body I'm blessed with, because it's like you're only given one body. If you don't like it, change it. But if you're good with yourself, like, it shouldn't matter what other people are thinking about you.
So I guess the primary question is, Dominique, if you were her and you were at work today and you've heard this floated through on the radio, what's the action you would take?
Since you doesn't want to ruffle each other, try a letter, anonymous letter.
Oh.
Hey, I know of someone that's being harassed, and you don't have to get your name on it, but just act like you found it on the floor.
Yeah.
And, you know, just at least try to bring it up to them. You don't have to let them know that it was you. You don't have to let them, but it does have to be addressed. Because, like you, JJ, I'm with a little confrontation now because I'm an adult and you will treat me as such.
Sure. I get it. Good idea. Well, hey, thank you for chiming in. Really always good to hear from you. Hope you have a good day today.
You too.
Take care.
Have a good day, guys.
I got time for one more call. It's Betty. Hi, Betty. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. What's the action you would take? You go into work today and you're like, all right, enough is enough. I'm going to make sure that something gets done here. What would you do?
Okay, well, I guess I would go, if she hasn't talked to this person after the fact, I would probably go, I know that she's afraid of confronting him or saying anything to him, but it doesn't have to be a confrontation. She can go to him and say, you know, what you did to me was really inappropriate and it was embarrassing, and see what his reaction is. And if he still is not like, you know, yeah, it was just a joke and da-da-da-da-da, I would definitely still go to HR, and I would use the word, you know, that it is being harassed at work, that it's a hostile work environment, because however you present it to the HR is how they're going to take that kind of reaction to it as well.
Also, it's going to give her that confidence, like, okay, wow, I just stood up to somebody that I didn't think I would be able to stand up to. And even if he doesn't change his spots, then you can say to HR, listen, I went and I tried to be a big girl, and I said, this is bothering me. You need to change the way you speak to me and tell your friends. And then if they don't, then you go up the ladder. If that doesn't work, you go up the ladder.
I think you bring up something really interesting here, Bonnie, because you said you'd go to him, and if he doesn't show like remorse, then you take this to the next level. Let's say he does. Let's say he feels the pressure and understands the microscope is on him all of a sudden, and he's like, I'm really sorry. I was out of line. Do you still take it to HR, or do you give him a second chance to be a good human?
Well, what you do is you go to HR and say, this is what happened. Here's how I handled it. I just wanted to let you know that if this happens again, then maybe we ought to discuss what's happening in the workplace.
Yeah.
Good call.
Now, for the other gentleman that chimed in with him, I would not, she can have this conversation with him in private or whatever, but for the other gentleman that chimed in or maybe laughed or whatever, you know, maybe it was just something that they laughed about. I don't know if they added in comments.
Well, Betty, don't you think word will spread? Like, if they find out the originator is getting in trouble, I hope that they would just stop.
Right, but what I'm saying is that with her having this conversation with him, whether it's in private or in front, I mean, I would make it more of a, I wouldn't take him to the side so much, but I would at least talk to him while because he did this in front of everybody else. She should talk to him in front of a couple other people.
Yeah, sometimes that works.
But, you know, I think a lot of people that do this kind of thing have so many insecurities.
Sure.
So this gentleman, either he's really immature, and people already at work know that about him, or he has so many insecurities. You know, I don't care about him. I care about her.
Yeah.
But she ought to realize that it's not about her. It's more about him than her.
You know what I like, Maggie, about you the most is even though this is a pretty brutal situation, you keep using the word gentleman.
Yeah.
Okay, well, when she's going through this, whomever it is, she has to realize that the person who's doing this to her, it's not about her, it's about them.
Yep.
Yeah, normal people don't do this.
Well, we've got a lot of great advice flowing through, including yours. So thank you, Betty, for taking time out of your day to give us a ring.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Guys, if you didn't get a chance to get through yet, all you got to do is text us.
So weird.
Weird stuff. Everybody called me weird. I am weird.
You don't think this is a little weird?
No, I don't think it's weird at all.
Weird news.
All right, so you have almost 10 months to think of that name, the perfect name for your baby where, you know, this is what they're going to go by for the rest of their life. So maybe you do have to consult somebody. This woman gets paid $150,000 for her services.
Yes, so I am a baby name consultant. And believe it or not, it's not just celebrities who are looking for unique kind of standout names anymore. I think all parents are looking for the perfect baby name. Some interesting ones that are coming back, though, are names like Franklin and Walter. I typically will not share my favorite baby names, but I want to say that Moses is on my short list for my own kids one day. I love it.
How do you set your kid up for a life of failure when you name him Moses and he can't live up to the biblical character?
My friend Alana, she named her little boy Moses.
That's too much pressure. Why not name him Jesus? I'm serious.
There are many people named Jesus.
It's too much pressure, man.
Maybe it's goals. Maybe you have to try to strive to be the best person.
Let's name him John Lennon. There's no pressure there.
And you have no musical talent.
Name him Babe Ruth. Right.
He loves soccer.
I'm sure he'll be great.
That is what's weird. So Liam was looking at TikToks, and you know how they take old songs and then they'll remix them, and then Liam thinks he's like the first person on the planet to hear it. He's like, Mom, you got to hear this. Ain't nothing but a hound dog. Like that. They remix it. They're like, ain't nothing but a whatever. And it's like all these people's dogs walking around doing funny things. And I go, do you even know who did that originally? And I said, Elvis. He was like back in the day Bieber. And he's like
more even.
And
he was, by the way, he was the first one. Like, you look back and you go, oh, he didn't handle his fame very well. You know, I mean, he died on the toilet eating a banana sandwich and all, you know, full of heroin.
Yeah.
But nobody else was ever that big. Like, there wasn't like a roadmap for anyone else. And the Beatles, nobody else knew how to handle fame like that. Imagine getting off a plane and having 10,000 people screaming their heads off wanting to rip your clothes off.
It's crazy.
Nobody else had that kind of fame. These artists now, Bieber. Yep. He's got people around him. He's got people to manage him. Now, did he make all the greatest choices? Probably not. But look, just nobody else had any of that. That's amazing.
I asked Liam, like, you know how he died? And he's like, no. And I said, he died on the toilet. And Liam's like, God, that would be the worst place to die. Don't you feel how degrading? Like,
yeah, they come in, they get your body, they got to clean you up, and you got especially what if you got poopies in your underwear?
Don't all dead bodies have loose bowels? Don't you poop yourself right away? I thought you did.
I don't necessarily think so, but like, what if you got skitty undies?
What day is it?
Hold my beer.
I'm just kidding, but I'm just saying, like, you're on the toilet. Next thing you know, like, that's the last visual that people have of you, even if they aren't in the bathroom with you, splashed all over the headlines. All people do is picture you in the bathroom.
What if you die in one of those little movie 25-cent movie things in the back of the adult bookstore?
Oh God, yeah.
What if they got to call your wife and be like, hey, he had a heart attack back here. And
I
we
would
had to pull him
army
out of there.
crawl my way to my car.
My very
and just
last breath.
Yeah, and just drive myself to a park or something like that, and that's where I die. I can't die here. This is the moment you have to think of somewhere where you would utter, like,
There's a
I
lot of
can't
places
die
you
here.
don't mind dying, but man,
It's like that one guy, and I totally, like, this would be my answer, either the desert or, like, in one of those canyons, like that guy that had to cut his arm off with his credit card. Do you remember that? Jared Leto played him, but he was, like, rock climbing, and then he fell. And you're just laying there by yourself.
Then the vulture starts circling.
In the desert, and you're so thirsty, and you're hot. Nobody knows where you are.
I think part of the problem there is, the coyotes are going to get you before your family finds you. You know what I mean?
You watch them approach.
I'm a fan of, like, understanding and thinking that, this is a vehicle and that, the soul's going to bounce out and I really don't care what happens to my body, but I don't want my family to find me half eaten by a grizzly. Young Liam is infatuated with
You ain't nothing but a hound dog.
Elvis now?
Well, he just saw that it was a song that was redone for
Somebody
TikTok.
mashed up a TikTok version of it.
And I go, do you know who originally did that song? I said, Elvis. Do you know how he died? He died on the crapper. And he's like, that would be horrible.
What just a sad ending to an amazing human's life. And you got to almost accredit it to the fact that he had no one around. He didn't know what to do. How do you handle that kind of fame and wealth? He was the first one through it. I mean, who was bigger than him ever?
Nobody.
I mean, the Beatles, Elvis. I mean, all these people just had so much thrust upon them, and then everybody else wanting something from them.
But to have that be what people remember at the end.
Right. We're talking about it now. He's on the crapper.
Yep. So I can't die here. You'd yell that out. Maybe that would motivate you to get out of whatever situation you're in.
Well, what's yours? You cannot die here. You would absolutely, the last place on the planet you would want to die.
I would say the desert. And I always have these thoughts when I watch movies where people are driving like from Nevada to Utah, like that long stretch where there's nobody except for the people that live in the hills, and then they'll come down and kill you and
eat you.
Yeah, like I can't die here in the desert.
Kim, where can't you die? It's going to be absolutely unacceptable for you to face your final breath where?
I can't die at pure pleasure.
How often are you there, Kim?
I'm not often there, but that's just what I was thinking first because I come from a God-fearing family. My mother is very God-fearing, and that would be more embarrassing to her than to me, per se. But
Can you imagine her having to bury her poor daughter and then all the gossipy girls around her going, she died buying a massager?
You just got to remember that they will have to find that stuff when they clean out your house. So, like, when you think about a hiding spot, you have to have it really, like, a really good hiding spot.
Kim, what are they going to find when they clean out your place?
Oh, God.
Not a darn thing.
Oh, lie.
But I thought that would be the funniest, though.
Yeah.
Poor mom. All right, you're always thinking of mom. Thanks for helping us out. Have a great day.
Yep, thank you.
Take
Bye.
care. Can you imagine that?
Yeah.
And can you imagine, like, if you died today and your husband didn't get that out of your house and your mom had to go through and find just the stockpile of battery-powered friends you have?
That would be horrible. I don't want to die drowning or in a fire unless I'm passed out. I won't allow anyone to die in my bed either. I don't think anyone allows people to die in their bed.
The last place on the planet you'd want to die.
Oh, my God. These ones coming in.
You guys, I didn't want to make a really morbid situation, but in 42 minutes, I have a promotions meeting.
Oh, man.
That would be the place. I would rather my kids know that I was buying some really, really inappropriate things.
In an alley somewhere.
I would rather them seeing me buy drugs.
Yeah.
Than to die in a promotions meeting.
It'll happen one of these days.
I die a little bit more every time. Tomorrow I won't be the same man.
Quarterback Cam Newton is getting some pushback for some comments that he made about women in a podcast.
A woman for me is handling your own, but knowing how to cater to a man's needs, right? And I think a lot of times when you get that aesthetic of like, I'm a boss, like I'm a this, I'm a that. No, baby, like, but you can't cook. You don't know when to be quiet. You don't know how to allow a man to lead.
The thing is, I don't find anything wrong with that interview. Like, he's saying what he wants. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with saying what you prefer.
You don't have to agree with the man. You're right. I think that's part of our culture right now is it's one or the other. You're against me or you're with me versus, all right, well, I disagree with him and I'm going to move on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I don't agree with the women that call themselves boss and, you know what I mean? It's like, if you are showing people that, you don't have to say that.
You know, if that's what he's looking for in a woman, then, you know, good for him. At least he's defined what he's hoping for in a mate.
And there are women out there that want to be that for a man. So I don't think that he should get kicked back.
Would not like my daughter to grow up with those values, but that's on me, right?
That's on you. That's on her. If she wants to change her values and make that happen for a man, that's up to her.
You know, part of the other thing is does that make him a bad quarterback for your team?
No.
You know what I mean? But then again, you got this social aspect as an owner of a team. Mm-hmm. Do you want this guy and those words representing that to young fans that might be buying the jersey?
I'd take that any day over somebody that's going to smack up a woman or
right. I'm not saying one or the other, but find a guy like Brady or this guy. You know, I mean, this makes his value go down to an owner, I think.
The United States Postal Service, they're quite scared of an area in Santa Monica, California. They actually suspended service to a part of it because there's this guy that walks around with a golf club.
Ooh.
I mean, you hear that the post office rain, sleet, snow, right? And they're supposed to bring you your mail no matter what. And for them to stop mail just made me feel really unsafe.
He walks around with a golf club over his back. It's a wood, and he carries it around, and it's very threatening to people.
Do you think he's maybe just protecting himself? Has he actually hurt anybody with this or threatened anyone?
No, he walks around like just a scary villain and swings it around waiting for somebody to make a
guy that walks around our neighborhood with a golf club too. He uses it almost like a walking stick.
Oh, okay.
Does it all the time. I see him all the time.
Well, does he attack?
I've never seen him hurt anybody. No, I mean, but this guy actually attacked a mail carrier?
Yes.
Oh, well,
waited for her to get out of her truck and ran after her with a golf club. So
I don't want my mail anymore.
And that is the 4 before you hit the door.
You know who could stop that?
Gordy.
The Playhouse Podcast is made possible thanks to Bradshaw and Bryan Law Offices. Catch the live show weekdays from 5:30 to 9 on 104.7 KCLD. Now, share this with a friend.